Welcome, D-Truth. We are going to talk some college football this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We have some blockbuster matchups here. Uh, one goal to get to SoFi Stadium in
Yep,
January, the
you're right.
ultimate goal. And it begins today. The road to Los Angeles begins today. And we have some great matchups. Here.
Oh yeah, I see. Estator already. Already started best already.
Well, I'll tell you what. When USC plays somebody, we'll talk about them.
Now look, he talking about he pulling for Oregon today, so he talk
I hear
trash
you.
to you.
Look. When you don't have haters, you're not doing anything right. When you're on top, you're gonna have haters. Mississippi State, Memphis, they played a classic last year. It was a
Yeah,
controversial ending, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking
yeah.
forward to this one. Those people down there in Starksville, they are ready for this. They have the cowbells ready. Listen,
hmm
this is turning into a nasty rivalry right here. It's turned
Hey,
into a nasty. They do not like each other in the main event. The main event. This is the one we've been talking about all summer. Notre
Notre
Dame and
Dame and
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
So let's start off with that one right there. Listen, for those of you that don't know, my wife is a huge Ohio State fan, a diehard Ohio State fan, and I'm gonna tell you like this. Listen, one of these fan bases are gonna be upset at the end of the night because someone is gonna take a step back. Someone is gonna kind of fall out of the playoff talks for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
And what I'm really looking forward to is how how much improved will this Ohio State defense be this
they're
year?
gonna be and what I'm looking forward to see is how improved that Notre Dame offense going to be,
Hmm.
and that is the two question of both of the teams right there.
Hmm.
Notre Dame offense versus Ohio State defense.
Hmm.
So we're gonna find out. Hey, somebody gonna take a step back, but at least Ohio State got a way to get in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? Which no they cannot afford to lose this game,
No, they
especially
cannot.
being that, especially if they not in a conference or playing a conference championship. They're independent.
Hmm.
Basically, you say Notre Dame. This a must win game from Notre Dame.
Absolutely. I definitely say it's a must win. Um, Much like last year when Cincinnati came to South Bend, that was pretty much a must win for Notre Dame, and they did not win that game. Or the year before
Hmm
when Clemson came to South Bend, it was a must win during the regular season because it actually helped them. Because they got blew out in the ACC championship game, and it actually helped. The committee say, okay, well, they beat Clemson during the regular season. Let's put them in.
Yeah, and I'll tell you where a big game helped uh, non-power five schools. Let's take Cincinnati for instance last year.
Hmm.
Hey, they got on a high streak. They beat the team they're supposed to beat, and they beat the big name teams, and that's how they got in.
Hmm.
And when we're in a all American conference like Cincinnati is, and you independent like Notre Dame, who would you rather
Hmm.
put in there? Who would you rather put in there?
Well, Notre Dame is always going to have the bigger name.
Yeah,
But if you lose, because this isn't 2024 yet, you can't afford to lose early, and you really don't want to lose late either. But if you lose
mm,
late, you want to go into that game with a stacked resume, like Georgia
yeah,
did when they went into Atlanta. So losing early can hurt you. Now,
hmm
now sometimes you can bounce back from it. It depends on how strong your schedule is, like Auburn's in 2017. Auburn had the toughest schedule in the nation. And they lost a couple of games early in the year, but they were able to bounce back going into championship week. They were ranked number 2 in the nation.
Yeah. And another thing that don't help Notre Dame, especially being in, but you talked about this for years. Notre Dame being independent, that kind of hurts them too. They lose a big game.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts them.
Yes, it
And
does.
how many times it don't hurt them? I think about 2 or 3 times don't hurt them. They could have been in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be in the ACC during basketball season, but you don't want to be in the ACC during football season.
Well, now with the expansions, I really feel that it's no pressure on them. No, absolutely. I wouldn't join the conference if I was them. I mean, I would bite the bullet knowing that I will never be able to host a playoff game, but you will at least get in.
Yeah.
I think there will be a seat at the table because of who Notre Dame is and the star power that Notre Dame brings to the playoffs. I mean, just can you imagine in NBA playoffs without the Lakers?
Hmm.
Yeah, just look how dead the NBA playoffs were this year
Hmm.
without the Lakers and in 2019 also. It was dead.
Yeah, it's just like it got to have that big rivalry. I don't know. Like I said, these games are scheduled years ahead of time, and whoever had thought you'll see a Notre Dame Ohio State matchup,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and like you said, it's more of a must win for Notre Dame than Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see what the offense of Notre Dame do against see what Ohio State defense does against Notre Dame, and that's one game I'm gonna be watching today. That's one game I'm going to be definitely watching.
Well, they kick off at 7:30 p.m. tonight. And listen, all eyes are going to be on Columbus, Ohio, because you have the number 2 ranked Buckeyes and the number 5 ranked Fighting Irish. Both teams are coming in with a lot of hype this year. Listen, these polls, they don't rank teams that high for nothing.
Mm-mm.
They don't rank teams that high for nothing. So they know something we don't know. But this is going to be a huge test for Ohio State. Now, listen, Ohio State had a game similar last year to this. When Oregon came into the horseshoe to play Ohio State, and they dropped the ball on it. They dropped the ball. So this year, um, they really, really need this game because I just don't think Ohio State will go undefeated in the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is getting a little stronger,
Yep.
and they could trip up somewhere. So you want to take care of business out of conference. You want to take care of business out of conference because you do not want a situation where you are forced to run the table in conference play because that is tough to do in today's college football world.
You're right. You try to. It's hard to do, especially in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, like I told you back in, and we talked about it before. The Big Ten is just like the SEC. It's hard to run the table.
Mm-hmm.
It is damn near impossible to run the tables.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Just like the SEC, it's very hard to run the table in the SEC. You gotta be realistic now. It's not like it was 15 years ago, where Bama was getting all the 5 stars and everyone else was getting 2 and 3 stars and leftovers. You got a lot of teams that are competing on the recruiting trail, especially with the
Hmm.
NIL in play. You got Texas A&M. They just finished with the number 1 class for 2022. Then you have Georgia is on Bama's heels in recruiting. Then you have Ole Miss is recruiting well. Arkansas is recruiting well. Florida is recruiting well. Tennessee is recruiting well. South Carolina is starting to put their mark in, and Mississippi State is recruiting well. It's parity all across these
Hmm.
conferences. And you look at the Big Ten, you saw last night. You saw last night. Uh, Listen, Indiana, Illinois. I mean, I'm watching both teams, and they have improved tremendously from
Yeah.
last year. So, listen, any given Saturday now, it's getting when I said yesterday that college football is turning into turn to the NFL D League. I really meant that. It is turning to the NFL D League. You can be beaten on any given Saturday.
Yeah.
So you have to go in there with your A game.
Yeah. And for recruiting and the 5 stars, 3 stars, you can throw that stuff out the window. We know that really don't matter, do it?
Exactly. NC State is ranked. I think in one poll they have them 12, and in another poll they have them 13. I think. Good morning, Professional Sudden. Let me see something here with NC State NC State. If I'm not mistaken, I think they have a tough one today as well. I think they have a tough one today, and they have one that they want to be careful with. Let me take a look here. NC State. NC State and the NC State.
I think they got a tough. NC State is, I'm sure NC State ranked number 13 in AP.
Mm-hmm.
And they are ranked. Hold on.
I know what they're ranked. I'm just trying to figure out who they're playing today. Trying to figure out who they're playing today.
East Carolina.
Okay. I talked about that one last night. And I will tell you, okay, listen, Slam, I'm going to tell you like this. I've seen many. I remember when Virginia Tech was ranked number 3 in the nation. One year they went into Greenville, North Carolina to play East Carolina. And they lost by 2 touchdowns. Okay, listen, that place right there, Greenville, North Carolina. I'm sorry. That is a dangerous place to go in and thinking you're just going to roll over them. Dowdy Ficklin Stadium has been a house of horrors. It has been a house, for a lot of favorites have went in there and failed to NC State. Failed to East Carolina. So they want to be careful with that one. They need to go in there and they need to put them away early. They need to do to East Carolina what they did to Clemson last year. They need to jump on them often, jump on them early, and do not let up at all. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I look at East Carolina. They used to be. I used to be scared of. I back in the day, I used to be glad we didn't play East Carolina. Tell you the truth. Me too. Because East Carolina is one of them teams that really don't know about. They look weak against some teams, and some teams look strong. We're gonna find out what both teams made out of. Can NC State repeat what they did last year? Mm-hmm. That is the question. We don't know about NC State. Can they repeat like they did last year? And they were strong last year. So
they're returning a lot of players on defense. So anytime that you are returning a lot of players on defense, and you know what they say, defense travels. I think NC State will take care of business, but it will be competitive early.
Yeah,
it would be competitive early because this East Carolina team, they play tough at home. They play tough at home.
Yeah, I had to write down Azotos. He predicted Notre Dame win against Ohio State, 42-35.
Well, I listen. I could tell any Buckeye fan. Look, I would be nervous. I would be nervous because Marcus Freeman is a defensive guru.
Mm-hmm.
He is a defensive guru. He reminds me a lot of Kirby. His intensity, his competitiveness. The man can draw up defensive plays and they'll work. 9 times out of 10, they'll work. I go back to the 2 years ago in the Peach Bowl. You know, everybody was predicting that Georgia would blow Cincinnati out. And I'm telling you, that defense was giving JT Daniels fits.
Oh, yeah.
They were not allowing Zeus over 3 yards a carry. He was getting 2, and they, they gave, and that secondary was elite. Now all of them are in the NFL. That entire secondary is in the NFL. That is the question mark. They're returning the front 7, but the secondary is going to be young. The secondary is going to be young for Cincinnati, and we're going to talk about the Arkansas game. But this Notre Dame defense is loaded. They are loaded. They remind me a lot of our 2017 Dogs defense. That's what Notre Dame reminds me. A lot of people are not really talking about them. They're not getting the respect that they should be getting. But listen, this is a very dangerous game for Ohio State to open the season with Notre Dame. If it was me, I would have scheduled this game like the second or third game of the season. I wouldn't have opened up the season with them. It doesn't matter if you're playing at home, because look, how many times have we seen Ohio State lose games at home?
Oh yeah, yeah, we have. Yeah, and think about see, you can have a defense, but the question is, can your offense score? That's why I said we got to see what Notre Dame offense is going to be like. We know what Notre Dame going to be defense going to look like. You see what I'm saying? They kind of got returning players. What can they offense keep their defense off the field to get rest against Ohio State? So if Notre Dame offense cannot keep the ball and keep their defense rested, that defense going to wear out. Man, you both know that defense going to wear out. That is my question mark. Is that offense, not the defense?
The offense of whose? Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
Well, I think they're bringing enough back on offense where they'll score some points. They're running 3 tight end set. They have a great ground game. Their O-line. Notre Dame is stacked in the trenches. That's what I'm saying. Marcus Freeman, he reminds me a lot. He reminds me a lot of Marcus Freeman reminds me a lot of Kirby Smart. He reminds me a lot of Kirby Smart. So this is going to be very competitive. No one is going to roll over the other. We will not know. I would predict we will not know the winner of this game until maybe late in the fourth quarter. This game is going to go late.
It's going to be very late in the fourth quarter. So, I'm gonna have to. That's a tough pick for me right there. That is a very tough pick right there for me. I want to go with Notre Dame. But that offense give me pause, but I got to go with Notre Dame because of that defense. I got to go with Notre Dame because of that defense. Because what they say, defense win ball games. Because if Notre Dame gets a turnover, for Ohio State, that will negate what Notre Dame offense does. And get Notre Dame offense more chance with the ball, and we know in football it take more for the offense to catch. The offense gonna have to catch up the first few games than the defense.
Okay, so, I just want to say something. Ryder Asatar, you have to excuse Nightbot. Listen, he hasn't actually been given his marching orders, so just excuse Nightbot. He hasn't been hasn't been given his let's just say Nightbot hasn't been programmed yet, and I'll leave it at that. So just excuse him. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Ohio State, Notre Dame is going to be interesting. It's the first time they played in I think it's like 15 years, 14, 15 years is no, I'm sorry. Don't get me the line here. They played Barrett's senior year in a bowl game, and Ohio State beat them soundly. But this is different right here. This Notre Dame, I think this will be Notre Dame's best defense that they put on the field in years. You got to go back to 2017 the last time I seen a Notre Dame defense this stout and this good. Yeah. So
You gotta be.
let me see here. All right, now we're going to discuss this one right here. Georgia and Oregon.
Yeah.
Georgia and Oregon. Listen, this is a game that Georgia wants to go in, and they want to go ahead and take care of business as quickly as possible. They don't want to play around with Oregon. I wouldn't advise them to play around with Oregon at all.
And this,
You know.
yeah, and this ain't the first time Oregon played a big name Power 5 school the first game of the year.
Mhm.
And I know they played Auburn. You remember that game?
Mhm.
That was Bo Nick's first game, and for when he played for Auburn, that was a nail biter. That's a nail, and you see the miracle Bo could pull off against a big name school, and this is gonna be one of those games. Like, okay, you sit back, enjoy yourself, get your popcorn ready, get your drink ready. Hey, we're gonna see what we're seeing gonna prevail.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to that Oregon and Georgia game. I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm. Okay.
Georgia
Now,
win. Well,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
See, Georgia, they will. It's gonna be with Georgia. Is a must win, but not a must win. You feel what I'm saying? Because they
Mhm.
in the SEC and they got big teams they got to play in the SEC. Oregon, not so much. Because when the
Mhm.
last time the Pac-12 got in the playoffs?
Oregon got in the playoffs back in 2014.
That's
The
what
year,
8 years.
that was 8 years ago, but they got in. There's some teams that never been in.
Yeah,
so I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo on that. It's
yeah,
if you've been in the playoffs, and I mean, and it hasn't even been 10 years since the playoffs have been on the table. If you've been there once, then I would wear that as a badge of honor.
yeah.
If I'm a fan. So.
But what I was saying is the Pac-12 don't have the luxury as the SEC and the Big Ten. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. It actually is a must win, especially Oregon. Say Oregon flops on one of these other games later on in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got that first game of the year beat Georgia, the national championship, to hang their hat on that the committee can look at. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing about being in the Pac-12 that kills Oregon sometimes.
Well, you're forgetting one thing. And if you're going to say that about the Pac-12, you can say that about the Big Ten, because if you look at it, the Pac-12 has put more teams in the college football playoffs than the Big Ten has.
Yeah.
And that's funny. Think about it now. The Pac-12 has put in
You mean
Oregon.
you mean the Big 12?
No, sir. Listen, let me slow down. The Pac-12 has put 3 teams in the last 8 years. They put in Oregon, Washington. Is Oregon, Washington. Let me finish now. Hold on. I know it's more. I know it's more than they put in Oregon, Washington. There's a third team. I can't really put my hands on it now. There's a third team, but the Big Ten has only put in 2 teams. That's Ohio State and Michigan.
It says 2014.
Since 2014, they've only put 2 teams in. I know that's hard to believe. They've come. No, not Arizona State. No, man, you're making jokes. You're making jokes. It's not Arizona State. Now, I could be wrong. They could be neck and neck with only 2 teams. Going, the Big 12 has only put in 1 team, and that's Oklahoma. Listen, the ACC has put in what? If you can count Notre Dame, all right, because
Can't
Notre
count
Dame
Notre
was
Dame.
at 2.
Notre Dame
No,
independent. You can't count them. count
No,
them.
but
They in
hold up,
football, they are
hold
independent.
up, slow down, brother. Let me finish saying what I'm about to say. All right.
Go
Yes, they
ahead.
are independent, but in the pandemic year, they played for 1 year only. They signed up with the ACC and they played an entire ACC schedule. They even participated in the ACC Championship Game. So they were not independent for that 1 year. They remember they signed a 1 year contract with the ACC and they played an entire ACC schedule. Michigan State. Michigan State. You are absolutely right. The Big Ten put 3 teams in. It's Michigan State. But listen though. Listen to this though. Listen. They one team more than the other conference. I mean, listen. It's not really much to brag on. It's not a cushion. That's why I tell USC fans I don't understand the logic of running to the Big Ten because it's not like they're okay. Listen, you got Ohio State and Michigan, and sometimes Michigan State, but after that, what do you have? Pac-12. You had USC, Utah, Oregon, and don't sleep on Stanford or Washington. If Stanford, listen, they had a little bit of bad luck with injuries, but Stanford could have easily made the playoffs a couple of years, easily. You know, Oregon has had some close calls. Oregon had listen, if they wouldn't have went into Arizona State in 2020 and laid that egg, if they wouldn't have laid that egg on that Saturday night in Arizona State, listen, they would have been in the playoffs. No doubt. Because they steamrolled Utah in the championship game in 2020.
You're right. And I look at it right. It's gonna be, like I said, got to look out for some teams that I'm trying to look at Notre Dame's schedule right now after Ohio State, who they got to play, and see what kind of schedule they play. And you basically, when you look at their schedule, you can basically tell who they playing. You see what I'm saying? How the season can try to wind out, and some games they got to win a must-win games. Let's see, trying to find it.
And Chris, if you're listening, I apologize about that. Nightbot has not been. Let's just say Nightbot has not been programmed yet, so that I apologize for that happening.
No, he didn't time out Chris, did he?
Yeah, he timed out Chris, and I thought Chris was a mod. I could have sworn I made Chris a mod, but when he comes back in here, I'm definitely immediately going to make him a mod, so that won't happen.
Let's see.
Slam News says SEC is only put in 3. Well, you know, hey, you're right. Georgia, Bama, Bama, LSU. Yeah. All three won the championship.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, see, I like to ask him, what conference would you rather go to? The Pac-12, the Big Ten, ACC, the Big 12, SEC. You see, like you got more chance. Put it away, you got more of a chance to make the playoff in the SEC than any other conference anyway. The competition is better.
Well, sometimes it can work against you too. It depends.
Yeah, sometimes it can work against you. Yeah.
If you are, and they gave Georgia the benefit of the doubt last year because Georgia was, anyone with 2020 vision would tell you that despite what happened in Atlanta, Georgia was the best team, clear cut, hands down. And what also helped Georgia out is Clemson finished strong. They finished the year strong. They only had 3 losses. They looked like crap early in the year, but they finished very strong. And Georgia just blew everyone out in their path last year until they got to Atlanta. So, now that we're going to a 12 team, which I want to We're going to talk about this right now. Um, what are your thoughts on this? And how do you think they should? We discussed it last night, and we can pick up where we left off on that. How do you really feel about this, and what conference benefits the most from this?
Yeah. I think the Pac-12 benefits from this the most
Mm-hmm.
because they are, especially on the East Coast, and how late some of them games be,
Mm-hmm.
and especially some of the community that lives on the East Coast, they don't hardly get to see some of them games. You know what I'm saying? So they benefit from it. I look like this. You got the Power Five, right? Let the Power Five champion go, and in the group of four conferences, the All American Conference is the top conference. Would I be lying
Yeah,
if I
you're right.
said that?
No, you win.
I would say let the All American Conference champion be the number 16 in there out of the other five championship teams out of the Power Five. Hey, the other six for the best record. You see what I'm saying? So guess what? You will have no problem then. Because especially say the All American Conference champion got a better record than say one of the Power Five, the second best team in one of the Power Five conference.
Mm-hmm. Well,
What team would you?
that's not going to happen. They're not going to allow the All American Conference to be the sixth. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, they let them be number 4 last year. So what's the difference?
Well, the thing is, they're not going to get an automatic bid.
You know what I'm
Is what
saying?
I'm saying. They're not going to get an automatic bid. You're not going to. The math doesn't add up. You're not
Yeah.
because let's just say if it's a year there. Let's just say Memphis has 3 losses. Are you going to send them to give them an automatic bid over an undefeated Coastal Carolina or over an undefeated, let's say, Mountain West champion? Or over an
Mm.
undefeated Fresno State or an undefeated San Diego State. I mean that's not logical. That's not gonna happen.
That what I was talking about. See, now you see what I'm talking about. That's the same thing I was talking about last night.
Mm-hmm.
How is no Power Five conference gonna get into undefeated in before another undefeated team out of the group of the other group of 4? Would that be right? You see what
No,
I'm
it wouldn't
saying?
be. No, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right.
Well, we know how
Yeah.
they play the game. Who, how much? You know how the game is. What can we make? Which team can we make more money out of for? Fresno State or let's say Texas is one of them teams. Who could we make more money out of? Fresno State or Texas?
Well, you know the
You see what I'm
obvious
saying?
answer. I mean, you
Mm,
know the obvious answer to that. I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah. Hey,
I
hey,
mean,
hey,
that's
you know
not
they're going
even.
to. Hey, you already know they're thinking about that anyway.
Yeah,
But they ain't gonna
yeah,
say it
that.
out loud.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm with you on that. I rather see the best team in there. I don't care. Look, I don't care. I don't care if it's an HBCU that's playing in the Power Five in a four group of 4. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
if they got a better record than my team. Hey, they deserve to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it. I'm just being honest. Give
Yeah,
them a
but they
chance.
also but they're also gonna they're gonna take in consideration of remember the TV deals.
Yeah.
I mean these networks are paying big money, and if they want to see a Notre Dame, if they want to see a 2-loss Notre Dame or a 2-loss Texas team in there over a 1-loss Fresno State team or a 1-loss Coastal Carolina team, you better believe that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
in that committee room.
yeah. But and that's why some of them teams usually wind up losing in the first round because they deserve to be there. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's just the bottom line. How many times we see the team? All right, let's take the NCAA tournament for instance. How many times we see the team get in the tournament, cause us some fluke, whatever, knowing they ain't supposed to be there
Mm-hmm.
and lose, and that would usually happen in the playoffs. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna see what's gonna happen. What 2024?
Yeah.
Boy,
There's
they're gonna be.
still some things they need to work out. I really feel like, as she said, I hope Miami Hurricanes. Let's see what she
Jeanette
is.
Daniels, yeah.
Jeanette Daniels. Good morning to you. I hope Miami Hurricanes do better. They will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cristobal is building a juggernaut down there. Listen, hey, I'm excited about the Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes are going to have a good year. Some people are picking them to win the ACC, and some people are even picking them to get to the playoffs. So hey, I think the Hurricanes are going to be a major player. I think is when it's said and done, you could see a Miami, Clemson. You could see them playing twice. You could see them playing twice and deciding who wins the ACC. NC State, I really have to see them in a situation where I know they're tough at home, but I got to see the NC State win a signature game on the road before I can jump on that bandwagon. Pitt has some issues. They have some issues in the secondary. I don't think that defense. They're good up front, but that secondary has some issues.
Yeah, and I think them going on the road the first game to ECU is gonna be it's kind of it's gonna be a good test for them.
Mm-hmm.
See, normally I said 2020 it went hard to no crowd in 2020. 2021 year they were starting to come back. The home crowds in the school wasn't in the groove yet, and I think this year the fans gonna be in the groove this year in those stadiums now.
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's going to be a regular year. It's going to be a regular year. And there's nothing. You can't even hardly walk into a Walmart and find anyone with a mask on.
Mm,
Everyone is no social distancing. Everything is officially back to normal.
yeah,
Right
yeah,
now, and God forbid anything takes a turn for the worse. But right now, as I look around, everywhere I go, it looks a lot like 2019. Everything is back to normal, sir. I'm glad you came back. Some people would would have gotten upset and never came. I'm glad you came back, Chris. I truly apologize about that, and I just need you to keep typing so that I can make you a mod, man. Go ahead, keep typing, brother. Keep typing. Uh, just type something else in here.
yeah. He said no problem. He said he's at work listening. So
Yeah,
get make that money, bro. Make that money.
yeah, yeah.
Make
It's
that money.
Saturday. And too many people can't. Too many people say that on a Saturday. Not too many people say that on a Saturday. But yeah, I think he's on the Armando Black. I think he's on the Armando Black channel.
Yeah, yeah. He is.
Okay, so yeah, he's okay. Okay, so I'm streaming from so many different platforms, everyone, and that is what's going on. So let me
He just
correct.
typed again. He
Yeah,
just
let
typed
me.
again.
I gotta switch over to that channel. I gotta switch over to that channel real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of hard. Yeah, I understand that. Boy, hey, right, streaming to multiple platforms is hard work.
yeah, it is. Okay, I'm still not seeing him. I'm still not seeing him.
He's
Okay.
on.
Hold on. Um, hold on. Hold on, just you can keep going. You ain't have to stop because of me. You can keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Slam Noon. You say what you think about UNC freshman quarterback after their first game? Hmm. I think he could.
US
Go ahead.
USC does not have a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, he talk about UNC, North Carolina.
Listen, North Carolina is going to take a step back. I mean, I know you're a Carolina man. It sounds like you're a Carolina man, but brother, I'm just, I'm not going to sell you any pipe dreams, brother. They're going to take a step back. They are going to take a major step back this season. They are not going to be anywhere near what they were last year, and especially in 2020. Sam Howell is he's a once in a lifetime type of quarterback, brother. And when the last time North Carolina's had a quarterback, and when the last time North Carolina's had an Heisman potential winning candidate. Now he had an off year last year, but I think he's going to have a great NFL career, because he has the size, he has the speed, he has the arm strength, and he has that quick release. I think he will do well in the NFL.
Yeah. And yeah, hey, you got to put for the home team.
Yeah,
got to
now
put for the home team.
If you are talking about North Carolina teams that I am sort of high on this year, you want to start with Wake Forest.
Yeah.
You want to start with Wake Forest, and that offense reminds me a lot of that Tennessee offense. If Wake Forest, and they have a new defensive specialist that they brought in, if they start locking teams down and they start playing some defense, and if they can get anywhere as near good as the offense, look out. Where then the conversation is going to change, and then we're going to be talking about Wake Forest winning the ACC and possibly getting into the playoffs. Because listen, they're just one good defense away, a couple of good 5-star defensive players away from being an elite college football team, because that offense is elite. That offense is definitely elite. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like to read Janetta comment. She said she lives in Columbus, Ohio. She hates Ohio State, and I pray that they don't do all that good this year. That sounds about right for a Miami fan, don't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, listen, I know how you feel, Jeanette, because I had to go through it. Look, I grew up in East Alabama, and me and D Troop, we both grew up in East Alabama. And listen, back then, it wasn't Bama that was a thorn in our side, being a Georgia fan. Auburn was the thorn in our side. Auburn cost us a lot of SEC titles in '83. I really do believe Auburn cost us a national championship. And I hated Auburn. I couldn't stand Auburn fans. They got on my nerves. They were arrogant. They were very arrogant, and look, they got on my nerves. I couldn't stand them. So listen, I understand how you feel. We got some Alabama fans here in the ATL. I ran into one at the gas station. I was on the phone with D Troop, and we were talking about the games for today, and she overheard me say something about Bama, and she was like, she turned around and showed me her t-shirt, Roll Tide t-shirt. She got Bama emblems all over her truck. Those are some diehard fans. I can't do nothing but respect Roll Tide fans. It's no rivalry, not a situation where I don't like Bama. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, I hated Auburn. I couldn't stand Auburn. Look, if Auburn were playing Florida State, because Florida State was a thorn in Auburn's side back then, and I would always cheer for Deion Sanders and his Florida State Seminoles when they played Auburn. And I got into a couple of fights at school for pulling against Auburn. You know what I'm saying? East Alabama, they take that college football serious. Roll Tide, Auburn, but Auburn was just back then. Auburn dominated the SEC back then. All
Yeah.
right, Appalachian State may
And,
be sneaky good in a few years. Boom, North Carolina be right. Listen, that's another place I would not want Georgia to go into. Boone, North Carolina, and playing Appalachian State. That's another team you don't want to fool around with early in the year.
yeah. And let's say that shout out to a state game in the house. Gabe is in the house.
State gang, salute the state gang, salute the
Uh,
state
uh,
gang.
which Trojan are you talking about? USC or who?
Oh, fight on when a Trojan fan says fight on, it's nothing but USC, Southern Cal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's their slogan. Fight on, them Trojans. I gotta see what Oregon does against Georgia today. I'm gonna be honest with you. If Oregon hangs with Georgia in Atlanta, I think Georgia will pull it off. But if Oregon hangs with Georgia and keeps it close to, like, let's say, under a touchdown and under, then Oregon is definitely going to be my pick to win the Pac-12, because you don't go into Atlanta and hang with the defending national champions unless you have an elite team that can do that. And that's why that's when Cincinnati did what they did in that Peach Bowl game 2 years ago to my Georgia Bulldogs. I told everybody, and people laughed at me. Even the Buckeye fans laughed at me. I said, that team, that Cincinnati team that just went undefeated and took my dogs wire to wire in New Year's Six bowl game down to a winning field goal. This Cincinnati team, mark my words, they're going to be in the playoffs in 2021. And damn if they didn't make it. Salute Esco, salute Esco, salute, brother. Blessings to you.
See, let me see. Can I pull up Oregon schedule after this Georgia game? And
Oregon. And I'm gonna tell you another team you got to look at also that has a good opportunity to make something happen today. And this team right here. Listen, if Utah goes into the swamp and pulls this off tonight, this is going to be a night game. All right. Now, listen, I know Florida's not ranked, but they are still a blue blood. All right. This is an SEC powerhouse. All right. And this is one of the most difficult venues to play in. This is one of the most difficult stadiums to go into and beat this team. If Utah goes down there in Gainesville on week 1 and beat the Florida Gators, listen, they're gonna leap the loser of the Ohio State Notre Dame game. They are gonna move in front of that team, and they'll go into the top 4. They'll go into the top 4, and they're gonna be. Listen, if Utah can pull this off, I really feel that they can have a slip up. One slip, because they play a 9-game schedule, a 9-game conference schedule. So I think they could afford one slip up in the Pac-12. And as long as they win the conference, win the championship in Santa Clara in December, I think they'll walk right into the playoffs. But they got to win this game today. They got to.
I'm looking at both teams. I'm looking at both teams, Florida and Utah. Consider how ranked Utah ranked. Even if Florida win a game, it'll help them. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, if Florida gets somebody, but Utah win this game. Let's say Oregon. Say Oregon loses to Georgia and Utah loses to Florida. And they win the rest of their game. Both teams win the rest of their game, right? And come back up. That second game to the last game, Oregon Utah plays. With one loss. That's gonna be a big game. And Oregon had that game at home. That's gonna be a big game between Oregon and Utah.
That college game day will be there. That's how big. That's what I'm saying. You are seeing a paradigm shift. You're about to see a paradigm shift in college football. That is why I was highly upset that USC and UCLA made that move, because now that the NIL has kicked in, think about it now. Oregon has Nike.
Mm-hmm.
No, Oregon has Nike. That is a huge market. Okay. USC, UCLA, that California market is huge. Next to New York, it is the second biggest market in America. All right. Arizona has a big market. There's money down there in Arizona to be made when it comes to these NIL deals. Colorado, they have the entire state of Colorado. The entire state of Colorado. They are the only Colorado team in a Power 5 conference. So you think the NIL is not going to benefit the kids that go to Colorado? I'm telling you, the Pac-12, I think USC and UCLA, they jumped the gun a little too soon, but I think the Pac-12 can recover if they can make a move. If they can make a move and pull two more teams, I say Boise State, I say go out of the box, get Boise State, get two teams from the north, Boise State, and I would grab North Dakota State while they're hot right now.
Oh yeah. And I see on Oregon schedule they're playing UCLA, but they ain't playing USC.
I want to welcome in Gabe. Good morning, Gabe. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, boys?
Good morning.
Good morning, Gabe.
State games. Salute.
You guys are up early. Kickoff ain't for what? Not what? 3 hours?
Yeah, man. We want to get head stuff.
This how we do it football. Hey, this how we do it football season. hey, I hardly got into sleep last night because I was ready for the day's game.
Wow. Okay. I'm not excited like I used to be, but
now who's your team, Gabe?
Trojans. I had
USC
tickets. I'm a spoiled Trojans fan. I started right when they started winning the national championships, 2003, and I had season tickets. I had seasons from 2003 to 2006.
Wow.
And I have an incredible record going to USC home games. I've only seen them lose twice, and let's see, from 2003 till now. But I mean, I have a record like The Undertaker. I think I'm like 22-2, something like that.
So, I don't know. You need to keep going to them home game, Gabe.
It's funny because I started going to football games because of my friend and his family, because they were like hardcore SC fans. And yeah, after I stopped getting season tickets, they would take me to certain games just because I was like a good luck charm. So it was cool.
Now, Gabe, listen to me real good. Now, I am looking at the Trojan schedule. Oh, and now listen. I see a potential run. This reminds me a lot of 2002. Not 3, but 2002. If you remember 2002 is the year that you guys almost won. You guys won the Pac-12, but you almost got into the BCS. I really believe if there was a playoff that year, you guys would have got in the playoffs along with Georgia. It would have been Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, USC. That's how the polls finished that year. Those were the top 4 teams. And that is when you guys went to the Orange Bowl and blew Iowa out in the Orange Bowl, and Pete Carroll made that statement at the trophy ceremony when he was like, listen, we've only just begun. He told the USC fans that we've only just begun, and in the following year, y'all won your national championship. Now, I'm looking at your schedule. You got Rice. Today, which I think you guys will blow them out. You're at Stanford. All right. I think you'll take care of business there. You want to be careful with Yeah. You want to be careful with Fresno State. Now, Stanford is always tough in Palo Alto. They're hard to beat in Palo Alto. Then you got at Oregon State. I think you guys have too much firepower, too much talent to lay an egg against Oregon State.
And then
you got Arizona.
Another tough one.
Yeah, but you got them at home. You got them in the
That's
Coliseum.
true.
That is very important. Your toughest games, you got Washington State. Now, October the 15th. Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, if USC walks into that game undefeated against Utah. Don't be surprised if both teams, Utah and USC, are both undefeated. This is what I'm saying. We have some blockbuster matchups on the horizon in the Pac-12, and I'm telling you, there is a paradigm shift that is about to happen, and it's going to tilt towards the West Coast because the money is on the West Coast.
Hey, you know something? You know what game? That last game of the year, I don't know why Notre Dame want to put USC on their schedule last game of the year, and they got to go to USC.
USC, their toughest games, Gabe. Don't listen, everybody. I see some people on the Facebook side laughing, but I'm telling you, Lincoln Riley and the Trojans can walk away from this thing with a last laugh because they have a squad. They have Caleb Williams, they have all of those transfers, and they have an elite head coach.
We just need the opportunity. Give us the opportunity.
Listen, I see the only game that scares me for you guys is that road game on the 15th of October against Utah. Now, that's still a mystery because we have not seen Utah yet. Will we see the same Utah team that was in the Rose Bowl, or will they take a step back? That is going to be the question. But I think USC, I'm looking at the schedule, Gabe, and you tell me. I see them having a chance walking into that game on the 15th of October undefeated. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I think if we get past Fresno, I think would be that if you want.
SC fans don't like Fresno. That game right there makes them nervous, and I can explain.
I don't blame them. Do you blame them? Fresno State is one of those teams like. I know my team could beat them. Yeah, I know my team could beat them, but you don't know what they're going to do when they play your team.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like. We knew, when Athletic State beat Michigan at the Big House, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew Athletic State had the credentials of winning the championship, playing big games.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you guarantee you go ask a Michigan fan, would they rather play Athletic State again that same year? I guarantee you they'll say no. They nervous. They don't want to play no Athletic State. You know what I'm saying? That's how USC fans are about Fresno State.
well, this is the thing now. You go back to 2005. This was the year that USC was trying to go for a three-peat. Yeah. And it was a Saturday night game. Gabe know what I'm talking about.
I was there. It was a late night game.
It was a late night game. And listen, Fresno State, they were leading by 2 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, man, Reggie Bush, he just flipped a light switch, and I will never forget that play he made.
Yes, he stopped on a dime and just went whoop
and switched.
Wow.
It was like, man, he did a move. He did a move like Magic Johnson. When he took the ball from his left arm, he flipped it behind his back to his right arm, and he ran to the right and scored a touchdown.
Yep, I was there.
Yeah. That was epic. That was I was watching that game, man.
And it was close all the way down to the fourth quarter, man.
Exactly. Listen.
And they about us.
Yeah, that was listen. It went down to the full court. Fresno State took them to the limit. They were in the Coliseum, and they took them to the limit. That is why I say this is great for college football. This is the best. Yes, this is the best. Lincoln Riley going to USC was probably the best thing for college football. Then you have Dan Lanning at Oregon. You have, the Pac-12 is building a great coaching tree out there. I really do believe that Hermanette will be able to hold on to his job, and Arizona State will have a productive season. Not a great season, but I think they'll have a productive season. But that South, it's going to come down to the 15th of October.
Yeah,
it's going to come down to the 15th of October.
Yeah, I want that game this. What do you think about USC and UCLA going to Big Ten?
I like that idea. I think it's better competition. And we're the money team, really. I mean, for Pac-12, it's SC and UCLA, the headliners, really. Even if we're not ranked or whatever.
I think Oregon has some star power too.
I would say, I would put Oregon third.
Yeah, if you look at, listen, they played in 2 national championship games. They played in national championship game in 2010, and they played in one in 2014 against Ohio State. Oregon has star power. USC has star power. UCLA, I think they are coming. I think Stanford will eventually come back. I think the biggest mistake the Pac-12 made was not pursuing Oklahoma and Texas a little harder.
That would have changed things.
Listen, you guys would have been right side by side with the SEC, in my opinion. Had that would have happened, because I think it makes more sense. Even Colin Cowherd made the statement. He said it makes a lot more sense for Texas and Oklahoma to head west to the Pac-12 than to have to deal with the gauntlet in the SEC.
I agree. And it's better for the Pac-12 too. Because those are headline teams. I mean,
exactly.
Even bigger than, all the teams in the Pac-12 put together.
Yeah. I just hate that they jumped the gun and just made that decision, because I really do believe if they could foresee what happened yesterday of the committee making it official, expanding the playoffs, I don't think USC or UCLA would have left. I really don't think they would have left.
Yeah,
because all they had to do was add Fresno State, North Dakota State. You see what I'm saying? Add some more teams to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Gay don't want to hear me say this, but Fresno State might have been in y'all division. If USC would have stayed in the Pac-12.
Most likely.
What if USC and UCLA would have stayed in the Pac-12? They added Fresno State and North Dakota State to the Pac-12.
Well, I think Boise State would have got in before Fresno State. It's the venue is small at Fresno State. The stadium, how big is the stadium, Gabe, at Fresno State? How many seats do they have in this?
You mean Coliseum or Fresno State?
Fresno State.
I'm not sure. I have to look that one up.
But you gotta look at it. That's kind of like how far Fresno is from USC.
Oh God, it's like Central California. It's a couple hours.
See, that's more like a rivalry right there. Really, want to look at it right down the road. So that's why I said Fresno would have been a better, because you never know what you're gonna get with that game.
Yeah, it's always it's a coin flip, but Fresno State always.
Yeah. They play them tough. They play them very tough. It's kind of like Louisiana Tech.
Okay, it says Bulldog State capacity 30,000. Oh, no, wait, hold on. Oh, that was from up to the old stadium. My bad. Let me look this up.
Because I was about to say you're not. How many?
It says here 40,000.
Oh hell no! You ain't getting you ain't getting no Power 5 conference. You can only seat 40,000 fans. No way. Unless the only way that they would be able to pull that off, they would have to add some seats to that stadium.
But think about it. Just about all the Power 5 schools, they add the seats.
Yeah, but okay, like I'm gonna give you an example. D-True. Like Missouri, when they came in, they were seating at least 60, close to 60,000. So they would add it on a couple of seats, and they're like at like 80 or something like that. But I mean, 40,000, man, that's small. That's small.
But still, it might be small. But guess what? I'd rather see a rivalry game that go be a nail biter than Boise State go in there and probably get blowed out, or not a close game.
Who said they could get blowed out? Because Boise State had some signature wins. Let's go down the list now. They went into the Fiesta Bowl and they beat a top 5 Oklahoma team with Adrian Peterson. All right.
Yeah.
They went into the Georgia Dome and beat a top 5 Georgia team. All right. They went down to Tallahassee and beat a top 10 Florida State team. They went into Blacksburg and beat a top 10 Virginia Tech team on Labor Day night. So
I know.
I Boise State now. Come on.
I'm not, but think about it. Like I said, I like rivalry games, and Boise State USC is not my interest. You see what I'm saying? It's not very interesting for Fresno State and USC. You see what I'm saying?
It could develop because we didn't see Texas A&M and Bama developing into a rivalry before 2012. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know, we never saw that coming.
But I guarantee you, well, Gabe might want to play Boise State. You can stay out of that nail biter. But I'm looking at in this 2 hours away, right? Mm-hmm. From each other. Fresno State got to go to USC. That kind of still will sell out regardless. Still had to add some more seats.
I agree with you. That would be an automatic sellout for Fresno State. And I do agree with you on the rivalry aspect of it because you have some kids that grew up in Southern California that may be playing on that Fresno State team. So it would be interesting to see Fresno State in the Pac-12. I'm just, I don't know monetarily would it make sense over Boise State because Boise State has been on the national stage, man, for a good 15, 17 years. They played in some New Year's Six games. They played in some BCS bowl games. So, they took care of business on the biggest stages. So, look, now I'll tell you another team that I would consider as well. I don't know if you agree with this or not, Gabe, but Nevada.
I never even thought of that one.
Yeah, Nevada. Listen, Vegas is booming now. Vegas is booming. I know it's not UNLV. I when it comes to basketball, UNLV would make more sense. But Nevada, their basketball program is coming along. Remember, they went to the Elite Eight in 2004 when they got put out by Georgia Tech. Their football team has been consistent. They just keep running into Boise State. In the Mountain West, and, they run into Boise State, but I really do believe now if they got to push from the Pac-12 muscle and the Pac-12 brand, I really do believe that their recruiting would skyrocket and Nevada would become a major player. There were people that didn't believe that a NFL franchise would work in Las Vegas, but it is. I mean, the Raiders they're looking good this year. The Aces, the Las Vegas, the WNBA women's team, they're about to win a crown.
Suddenly became like a sports city. They even got that hockey team now.
They are a sport, and people laughed. Salute. Good morning, Eve James. Salute to you, gorgeous. Yes, it was. People laughed, but that hockey team went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Their rookie season.
They almost won it.
The rookie year. Remind me a lot of the Atlanta United, but they're a sports town now. So I really believe that adding Nevada to the Pac-12, listen, and they put some money into those facilities out there in Nevada. So where is the school located? In Reno or where is Nevada located at, Gabe? You're a West Coast brother, so I'm asking you.
It's obviously next to California, but above Arizona.
Wait a minute now, Nevada? No, I'm talking about the school now, because I know UNLV is in Las Vegas and they play in Sam Boyd Stadium. They play in Sam Boyd.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So let's just say if it's in Reno.
I'm trying to get y'all keep talking. I'm finding it.
Yeah. Reno. Jeanette Daniels says Reno.
Yeah, it's not gonna be anywhere near the strip. Fuck that.
Yeah. Reno's a little wild. There's something. Listen. I don't know. I don't understand why they pinned the name Sin City on Las Vegas. The real Sin City is Reno. If anybody knows anything about Reno, and Gabe, you know this, Reno is wild. So listen, kid going to that school could easily be distracted because there's a lot of wild stuff going on out there in Reno. Some things they allow out there in Reno that they do not allow to go on in Vegas. I know that for a fact. But I think the Wolfpack would be a great addition to the Pac-12. But they need to make a move. They need to make a move. They need to go ahead and be proactive and go ahead and find 2 good replacements.
Oh wait, USC. Do athletes get money now, or can they get money for their likeness and shit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The running back for Texas, man. Let me tell you what this dude did. His name is B. John Edwards. All right. He created some kind of mustard with it's a little spicier. It's the mustard, and the University of Texas has actually put his mustard in all of the restaurants, cafeterias, all of the little mom and pop hamburger joints all over Austin.
Oh wow.
This man is making money off his NIL deal. B. John Mustard. It's on the shelves in the grocery stores down there in Austin, Texas.
Make him a millionaire. Not even have to play football.
Exactly. Listen, these kids, it used to be a time. Remember, I remember I was watching a 30 for 30 about the Fab Five and Jalen Rose and
I saw that.
Jalen Rose. They were talking about how they would have to bomb rides to practice and how they would have to catch the bus downtown if they wanted to go shop and if they wanted to go hang out or something like that. Man, these dudes pulling up at the stadium there in Benzes.
Pretty much every college, everyone went to college. At some point, they've cheated with the rules, like with food or accepting, little things here and there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. You might as well you don't have to
give
cheat
credit
now.
to one person who's kind of started this whole deal for college kids getting paid for shit. Ed O'Bannon.
Yeah, Ed O'Bannon. I wish
you remember that name.
Yeah, Ed O'Bannon. Ed O'Bannon. He went to bat, and listen, all of this would not be happening if it wasn't for Ed O'Bannon. So he is kind of like the Kurt Floyd.
Ed O'Bannon's a really old name now. I mean, God, he was big like when I was in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been fighting all this time for that. So
man,
people big deal with him.
Oh yeah. So I really, I just wish Reggie Bush would have fought a little harder. I think it could have started with him. If he would have fought a little harder, I think he gave up a little too soon. Listen, look, I don't give a damn how much money or apartments that Reggie Bush accepted. He earned that Heisman on the field. I just don't agree with taking away these kids' accolades and achievements. The Fab Five, they earned everything on the court. They didn't cheat on the court. They may have accepted a little money because they were hungry and needed food or whatever, or they needed clothes. But on the court, they did not cheat the game, and they should have not had all of their memorabilia taken away for all of those years. But I know they put the banners back in the rafters, but it should have never been taken down in the first place.
The funny thing is, OG probably killed people, and his jersey's still up there. No one said a peep. Still up there in the deck. Number 32.
Exactly. Jeanette, Penn State escaped by the skin of their teeth. If that safety, if his arms would have been a little shorter, if that safety for Penn State, if his arms would have been a little shorter, that was a hell of a play he made, where he just came out of nowhere and just got his fingertips a nail on the football and deflected it from that receiver. Because that receiver was wide open. He was wide open. He had beat the cornerback and the safety. That's why I tell everyone, one of the most important positions on the football field is that free safety position. Because that guy can save a game for you. If you have a good free safety back there and he's fast enough and he can get to that ball, he can save the game for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was one of the best games so far.
What's the best game you've ever witnessed or watched?
In my opinion, man, the best game in my lifetime, I would have to say that 2005 BCS Championship Game. I would have, because it was so much. It was so many dramatics in that game. It
2005 or 2006 against Texas.
Yeah. It was like January the 5th of 2006. But yeah, it was for the 05 national championship. It was so many dramatics. Vince Young, Texas people feel like Vince Young got robbed for the Heisman. USC fans were like, okay, you had the three-peat on the line. You had a controversy for the Heisman that was up. You had three of the best college football players during that time on the field. You had Matt Leinart, the previous winner, Heisman winner. You had Reggie Bush, the current Heisman winner, and you had Vince Young, a Texas icon.
Had we stopped Vince on that fourth down, Lindell White would have been the MVP for that game.
Oh man, Lindell White went off
that game. Yeah,
Reggie Bush
was not all there.
Man, Reggie, that first half, man, Reggie Bush was killing it. I don't understand why. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what really turned the tide of that game. When Reggie Bush tried to get too cute, and he tried to do a flea flicker.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
On that kickoff, because all he had to do was go down. You guys were already in field goal range. All he had to do was go down.
This one's still like hard to talk about.
Yeah,
it's still hard.
And another thing I don't understand is, listen, you know what's coming. You know the man was not going to throw the ball. Why didn't you just do a run blitz on Vince Young? I would have sent more than 3 or 4 men. Y'all were only rushing 3 men on that drive. I don't understand it. I would have blitzed him and made sure that he did not, because I did not think. Listen, he was not going to throw that ball on that last drive. He wasn't. He wasn't going to pass the ball on that last drive. He was going to win the game with his legs, and that's what he ended up doing.
Yeah,
he did to you all the same thing that he did to Michigan the year before in the Rose Bowl. It was like watching.
Makes my heart drop. My stomach.
If you go back and watch, and a lot of people don't remember, that 05 Rose Bowl was epic. I mean, Michigan and Texas, they were going back and forth. It was like a heavyweight fight. And Vince Young beat USC the exact same way that he beat Michigan the year before. He beat them with his legs on those last 2 drives.
And it's right here, too, at the Rose Bowl. I only live like not too far away from the Rose Bowl.
Pasadena's a beautiful, beautiful city.
Yeah, I'm right next to Pasadena.
Yeah, Pasadena's beautiful.
In fact, when they do the little flybys with the B-52s sometimes, I can hear it and see it from my house.
Exactly. Nighttime, I'm telling you, everyone, you're talking about a beautiful, beautiful setting. Listen, nighttime in those San Gabriel Mountains, when the sun set and you're outside and those San Gabriel Mountains, man, it is so beautiful.
As far as the stadium, the Rose Bowl is way better than the Coliseum. The Coliseum's pretty fucking old. The only reason we don't tear it down is because it's like a landmark because of the Olympics.
Exactly. And that's why I say, and I made this statement yesterday, I really feel like that the Rose Bowl should be the venue that hosts the national championship game. The first in 2024. Until they figure it out, I feel like the first round should be played on campuses. The higher seeded teams should host it on their campuses. But as far as the national championship game, the inaugural national championship game, but when they do expand, I feel like they should let the Rose Bowl host that one.
Yeah, you could easily put 100,000, I think, or even more now. I think maybe 120.
That is a beautiful city. That Pasadena is beautiful, and that stadium is beautiful. It's hosted many Super Bowls. Well, I don't understand why it is. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's only hosted maybe like one national championship game during the playoff era.
Oh, during
or has it only been a semifinal game? I know Georgia and Oklahoma I would have to put that game up there. When you ask me greatest games, I'm going to go in this order. USC, Texas, number 1. I'm going to go Georgia, Oklahoma, Rose Bowl, 2018 Rose Bowl, number 2. And then number 3, I would have to say the Catholic versus Convict game, Notre Dame, Miami. That was a classic there.
My all-time favorite, 2005 Notre Dame at USC.
Mm-hmm.
The Reggie Push final play.
Oh, I forgot about that one. That would be number 4 for me.
Oh man, I remember just screaming like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, listen. I'm glad the refs got it right because
I had no doubt that they were going to win though. It was weird because during that time you just knew that it was going to happen. They were going to pull through.
Mm-hmm.
Losing wasn't even like a. I didn't feel like they had a. It just wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to lose. It was just going to end up all right.
But that game told me because up until that game, USC was looking invincible, and I was predicting. I was like, oh man, these dudes finna 3-peat. Ain't nobody gonna stop these dudes. These dudes are gonna 3-peat, no doubt. But in that game in South Bend, I noticed a weakness. And listen, and I was telling my cousin, and I was telling a couple of other people in the sports bar that night when the game was over. I said, look, USC has a serious chink in their armor. The back end of that defense, they are terrible tacklers. They do not wrap up correctly. They are terrible. The safeties, they do not tackle well. Those DBs did not tackle well, and they came back to hunt them against Texas.
Yeah. I remember that fourth down. Throw to Dwayne Jarrett. And he just caught it and he just kept running and running. And you think, oh my God, that was like the play that set everything up.
Yep. But that kickoff, was it a punt return or a kickoff that Reggie Bush ran when he high stepped? He high stepped into the end zone like Dion. That was man, because listen, Notre Dame had just scored on a 60-yard touchdown pass to the tight end. USC had no answer for that tight end. He was killing them in that game. And then they kicked the ball off. It was kickoff. They kicked the ball off to USC, and Reggie Bush took it back to the house, and he high stepped into the end zone like Dion. But yeah, man. Listen, it's a new year. We have some great games today, and we're going to end it on this note. We're going to make some picks. While I have you up here, Gabe, you're going to make some picks along with me and Dwayne because, listen, the championship is going to be in LA, and I have no doubt in my mind that I will be shaking your hand that second Monday in January. I have no doubt that my dogs are going to be there. I'm going to claim it. And so I'm going to start with you, Gabe, and we're going to go with this first game.
Let me pull up the schedule here. Football today.
This one right here. Georgia, Oregon.
I'm going Oregon.
you should have known he's gonna stay in the Pac-12.
He didn't hesitate. Now listen, listen. This is a good Oregon team. They have a very experienced quarterback, and listen, this is a young Georgia defense. So I'm nervous about the game, but I really feel that my dogs. We're reloaded, we're lock and loaded, and there's not going to be any complacency with this team. This team is still hungry because they haven't been getting the respect during the offseason that I feel they deserve. But
if there were to be a major upset today, that would be the game.
That would be the game. Yeah, I agree with you. Look, all the elements are there. You know, you got a former DC, and you have a very experienced quarterback, and this quarterback is 0-3. against Georgia. And listen, I mean, I know he's chomping at the bits to get a fourth shot at Georgia. And so, anything can happen.
And think about it, both niggas have played against Georgia.
Yeah.
That's another element of the game. And I'm gonna call that a toss-up with me. You know what I'm saying? And no, we're not calling it a toss-up. The former defensive coordinator, head coach at Oregon, former quarterback at Auburn that played against Georgia at Oregon, and got Kirby Smart, some of the players that won the national championship last year. How are they going to come out and play? Are they going to overplay or are they going to underplay?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I call that a toss-up with me.
All right. So you're not making a pick?
Nah, not on that one. Okay. Not on that one. That game right there. I want to go Georgia, but I also want to go Oregon.
Okay. I'm going to step out on faith here. I think it will be competitive in the first half, but I think Georgia is going to go in. It's going to be kind of similar to 2020 Arkansas's season opener. It's going to be competitive in the first half, but I think Georgia's going to come out and put something on them in the second half.
Do I truly believe Oregon's going to win? Not really. But if I were betting, because I'm looking at the line, I'd bet on the Ducks.
Okay. You take the point spread in that one, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would too.
I don't think Georgia will cover that 17.5 point spread. I will say that. I don't think because I think Oregon is going to score they're going to score maybe 2 or 3 times on our defense because it's a young defense. So it is what it is. And don't be surprised if it's a game something like 38-28 or something like that. A high scoring game. This one is very intriguing. It has some Pac-12, all eyes are going to need to be on this game right here because if Utah can pull this off, this is definitely going to put the Pac-12 in a strong position to even with a one-loss Pac-12 champion could get into the playoffs. So how do you feel about this one, Gabe?
Ooh. I'm going Utah, that one. But that's still tough. It's Florida.
Home team. Look, I like that, man. Loyalty over everything.
You got those crowds, they're crazy over there for Gators and the Hurricanes.
All right, D-Troop, you got to make some picks, brother.
I am. Oh, you already know who I'm going with this one. You already know where I'm going with this one.
Go ahead.
I'm not going with loyalty to the SEC. Hold on, not so fast, my friend. The great Lee Cusso say, I like Utah, and I think they're gonna make a run for the Pac-12 championship, and they're gonna win the Pac-12 championship. I'm going with Utah.
Whoa.
This is probably, in my opinion, the second most important game for Utah. I think this is the second most important game for Utah on that I'm looking at on this schedule. I think the 15th of October is going to decide the South. You don't want to be in a situation where you win this game and then you lose on October the 15th. And then you're sitting at home and USC is playing in Santa Clara. They're playing Oregon.
Yeah.
In Santa Clara, and they beat Oregon in Santa Clara and then go on to the Rose Bowl. You don't want a situation like that. So Utah needs it. Utah needs this game. The Pac-12 needs this game more. The conference as a whole needs this game more than Utah individually needs it. I think Utah could lose this game and possibly still find a pathway into the playoffs, depending on how Florida performs the rest of the year. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I think Florida will jump on them early, but I think because the Utah has been there, I think Utah will prevail in a nail biter.
So you're taking Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I got one for you. Cincinnati and Arkansas.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. I'm going Cincinnati on that one.
Hold on.
Wait. What's the Arkansas's mascot?
Razorback.
Hold on. Let's discuss this one here first. Okay. Now this game, this rivalry is going to get ugly.
I want to take that one back because I think Moneyboy's nephew, plays for Arkansas. So
okay, but let's pick this one here first. Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Memphis. Speaking of Moneyboy, a lot of people feel that the referees screwed Mississippi State up in the Liberty Bowl last year. Okay, so this year is going to be in Starkville. And listen, those fans, they've been talking all week. They are licking their chops. They want Memphis bad. They want the Tigers bad. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be an emotional game because Mississippi State really feel that they got screwed over. And it possibly could have cost them a better bowl game.
Yeah.
Had they won that game, that season opener. So what do you guys think about this one? This is a grudge match. This has turned to a nasty rivalry because these fan bases do not like each other at all.
I'm going to go first. I'm going to go first.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, money boy. I got to go with the Bulldogs. The Cowbells down there. Memphis ain't seen nothing like it. Some of these players ain't seen nothing like they finna see when they go down to Mississippi State. No Cowbell gonna be ringing. And how they gonna take it? I gotta take Mississippi State because they still pissed off about last year.
All right. Okay. That's all right.
Gabe?
I'm going to Memphis just for the fuck of it. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going with Memphis. That's my dumb my throwaway pick.
Mike Leach has circled this game the entire summer. Listen, these fans, the way they talk about Memphis, you would think they hate Memphis more than they hate Ole Miss. You would think this is like a September version of the Egg Bowl. The way the Mississippi State, now I don't really know how Memphis fans feel about Mississippi State fans, but those are Mississippi State fans. I don't know what went on in that stadium. I heard it was a couple of altercations between Memphis fans and Mississippi State fans.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Listen, it's some bad blood there. And I just really do believe that Mississippi State, Will Rogers, they're going to jump all over Memphis early and often and frequently. I think Mississippi State is going to win this one by a couple of touchdowns. And I do also predict it'll be a couple of fights during this game.
Yeah, and you know what? I want to say apologies out to Sick'em Dog. Nightbot done did it again.
Yeah, I got a program Nightbot. He's getting a little overzealous.
Okay, what game we got next? So 2 Mississippi State and 1 Memphis. Okay. Notre Dame and Ohio State.
That's exactly what I wanted to go to. What do you guys think? I'm going Ohio State with this one.
Wow.
Wow. OSU. I got to go with Notre Dame because I think Notre Dame need to game more than Ohio State since they not in a conference. And that defense, yeah, but Notre Dame need more than Ohio State, and that Notre Dame defense shows up like it's. Hey, Notre Dame, look here, Notre Dame needed more than Ohio State because they not in the conference. And if that Notre Dame defense shows up like it's supposed to show up, and the offense do what they do, and Notre Dame get some few turnover for Ohio State lost a little bit from last year.
Notre Dame's
you see what I'm saying?
They don't really win big games anymore.
So I gotta go. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm taking Notre Dame.
I would assume read what Father Son Play said. He said Memphis versus Mississippi State is going to be off the chain. Security informed Memphis with. Hey man, let me tell you something. Man. They gonna definitely need security down there, man. Them fans, it's some bad blood between those two fan bases. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Both teams need it.
Yeah.
Both teams need it. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't see Ohio State running the table in the Big Ten, going undefeated. So this right here is just as important to Ohio State as it is to Notre Dame. I think they're gonna leave it all on the field. I think it's definitely gonna be. I think it'll be a defensive battle in the first half, but I think the offense is gonna open up. There's still a question mark about Ohio State's defense, especially on the back end, the way that Utah torched them in the Rose Bowl. But I'm gonna have to give the edge to Ohio State, man. That they got that fleet of wide receivers they have, man. That's the greatest show on turf, 2.0. them damn wide receivers ain't no joke. They can go play in the NFL right now. They could go line up and play in the NFL right now.
I would say this, but I know why you really went with Ohio State.
No, that ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it, because if this was Ohio State going up against Bama today, I wouldn't listen. I'd be like, hey, baby, it's business, it ain't personal. And I would pick Bama. You know what I mean? Listen. I'm speaking.
I
know.
I'll just put your chain in that one.
I would be happy if Notre Dame won, because that would get Ohio State out of our way. You know what I'm saying? And we would move up. But I know she's gonna be a little upset that I made that comment. But you're in our way. We are number 3, and I really believe if Notre Dame beat y'all, we would move to number 2. But listen, man. CJ Stroud, brother. I picked him to win the Heisman this year. I feel like he should have won it last year. I feel like this kid got robbed for the Heisman last year. I really do believe Bryce Young, he played a great game in Atlanta. But they gave him too much credit for the Iron Bowl comeback. He played like crap for 58 minutes in that Iron Bowl. So I really feel like they gave him too much credit for that Iron Bowl comeback. That was more of Auburn losing that game, giving that game away. Than winning it. Okay, so CJ Stroud.
L is in the house.
Yeah, SEC fan haters. No, man, I'm an SEC guy. I'm a dog. I grew up, born and raised in the SEC, man. Listen, brother, Esco, I remember the SEC. You remember that show that used to come on Saturday nights on the Columbus channel, Channel 3, the SEC Friday nights. It would come on at midnight, man. I would stay up. I would sneak up to watch that show, man. And they would be giving previews of the games and stuff like that, just so I could see some Herschel Walker highlights. But Ohio State is too much, man. CJ Stroud, I'm not betting against CJ Stroud. If this game came down to the fourth quarter, I'm not betting against CJ Stroud. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not.
When it comes to big games, Notre Dame they kind of fall apart.
Where they beat Clemson. They beat Clemson 2 years ago. On a
that's probably the only big game they've won in the last 10 years, maybe.
Oh, well, wait a minute now. They beat USC. They beat USC.
Oh, why you had to bring that up, man? Why you had to bring that up?
On a Saturday night, man. They were both in the top 5 that year in 2017, remember?
You had to bring that game. You had to bring that game up.
Yeah.
I can take my L's. Yeah, they beat us.
I think USC is going to have a great year. I think they'll go in October 15th undefeated. I just don't see any team in their path unless they have a slip up against Fresno State or Stanford. Other than that, they'll go into their October the 15th game undefeated with Utah.
You know what? I want to see. I wish Elle hit the panel. I want to see what her prediction be for these games. That's what I want to see.
You know it's too early for her. You know it's too early for her. She got to save her. Hold up. I think I gotta. Oh, I think I got a. Nah, that's from something else.
Did you get a text from Notre Dame?
No. But I think I really do believe that this is going to be a good game, and I think both teams need it. Both teams need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's so many other games like that. Cincinnati, Arkansas. That's a big game for both of them teams. Them 3 games we just named was the biggest game that we're going to see right now on TV. But for us matchup, that Cincinnati and Arkansas game, good God Almighty.
Yeah, I'm going to switch on that. I'm going to go with Arkansas. I said Cincinnati. I want Arkansas.
You go Arkansas?
Yeah.
I'm going Arkansas on that with my doggone self because I see what they got. I know what they got coming back. I know what they're going to do, and the offense look. They got players coming back on offense, and what kind of scares me is that defense. Let's see what that defense does. But Cincinnati going to Arkansas, let's see what they do. So I already know Cincinnati is not going to be scared going to Arkansas. What you think about that one?
Listen, Cincinnati has everything to gain, really nothing to lose. Arkansas, they need this game. They need this game because they have a gauntlet in front of them. We're going to find out a lot about them. I think because it's in Little Rock and the experience that Arkansas is bringing back. If you're bringing back an experienced quarterback, Arkansas is bringing back KJ Jefferson, and since Ritter is in Atlanta in a Falcons uniform, that right there is enough said for me. I'm rolling with Arkansas in this one.
Okay. And I think, hold on. I'm trying to. And we got one Sunday. We got a game Sunday. Florida State and LSU.
LSU. Because you got to look at it. LSU lost some very close games last year. LSU could have easily been like 9-3 or 8-4 last year. You know, they lost some games last year that they shouldn't have lost. And I'm going to make this prediction. I'm going to predict this right now. LSU is going to ruin someone's season this year. LSU is going to ruin somebody's season. Some team that is expected to be in the playoffs or expected to win the SEC or, you know, upper echelon, the elite team. LSU is going to ruin someone's season this year.
Yep.
This is a dangerous team. They're bringing back some studs on defense. And listen, don't sleep on LSU. I'm taking LSU by a couple of touchdowns in this one. They're playing in New Orleans, man. They don't lose in that Superdome.
Yeah. And the final game, Clemson at Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz.
Clemson is going to blow Georgia Tech out by 5 or 6 touchdowns. And by Tuesday, Collins may be fired. Or his seat will be sizzling so hot that they'll be drawing up the papers. They'll already be trying to figure out a way to buy him out of this country.
What you say, Gabe?
Paperwork will be ready by the time he's done with the game.
Hold on. What coach was that they fired before he even got on the plane?
Lane Kiffin, USC. Lane Kiffin, USC. Look, man, they didn't even look. He had to find his own way back home.
I think he
didn't even allow him on the jet that night, man. When they lost, I think who that was they lost to Arizona State after the Arizona, and it was a late game, man. It was a late game.
Late games are pretty killer to go to. Even just watch. Don't end till around 10:30.
Man, Clemson fan. Look, Clemson. That game will be over with
before halftime.
Before the second quarter. That game, Clemson would drop 3 or 4 touchdowns on them in the first quarter. Because that defense is gonna suffocate Georgia Tech. That defense and that secondary, man. Come on, man. Georgia Tech, they lost Gibbs. So they will have their running game is going to be suspect. They'll have a little passing game, man, but they won't even get past midfield in the first half. It's going to be. I wish they would have booked a better game for the kickoff Labor Day night. I mean, this game is going to be one-sided.
But I think what they were looking at how Georgia Tech played some of them teams last year, which some of them games were close. They had a chance to win them, but you can't go off that last year. You know what I'm saying? It's a new coach.
They caught Clemson on a bad day. They caught Clemson. No, they both had the same coaches. Jeff Collins is bad, but they caught Clemson on a bad day. All right, DJ was a little ready. You know, Georgia took their soul in that season opener. Georgia took their soul in the season opener. But Georgia Tech is going to be the sacrificial lamb to Monday night. It's going to get ugly early and often. It's going to get ugly.
But I just want to know who's going to get that slow walking sad singing award tonight.
The loser of this game right here.
Which one? Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Yes, sir. If Notre Dame loses this game, their chance of getting to the playoffs is slim to none. If Ohio State loses this game, they're forced in a situation where they have to run the table in the Big Ten. They're gonna have to do what they did in 2014. They're gonna have to be perfect the rest of the year. They're gonna be perfect in a tough. And I think this Big Ten this year is gonna be tough as hell. Let's go down the list. Indiana and Illinois look good. So those could be some mind traps. Purdue looked damn good against Penn State. All right.
Yep.
Penn State, listen, any given Saturday, they could sneak up on you. Michigan, they're bringing back Donovan Edwards and they're bringing back some studs on defense. Don't sleep on them. And you heard what Jason said about Michigan State. He's picking Michigan State to win the Big Ten. And Wisconsin is bringing back a squad. You never know what the West on the West side is. You could be tripped up on any given Saturday. Listen, to go undefeated in the Big Ten today, in today's Big Ten, is way more difficult than doing it 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean Jeanette Daniels comment. She said she'll see us later. She got to go get her chicken wing for the game today.
We're gonna get ready to get on up out of here too, because my plan was to end it at 10. But this is one of the best season opener weekends that I've never seen in my lifetime. This is like a WrestleMania card.
Yeah.
You got some matchups, man, that's going to be very, very interesting. So I can't wait. Even in the SWAC, man, you got the Jackson State and FAMU season opener. I mean, because you get man, FAMU went to the FCS playoffs and Jackson State.
They coming on.
Jackson State got a juggernaut, man. So look, we're going to be spoiled today. But slow walking, sad singing. I think if Georgia loses to Oregon, that's gonna take that would be a major blow. You're coming off a national championship season. You got a couple of people there, a couple of analysts are, making excuses that Bama was receivers. If their receivers wouldn't have went down, you wouldn't have won a national title. So you want to come back. It's very imperative that Georgia come out and make a statement today.
Yeah,
it's imperative. If we lose this game to Oregon, man, that's going to be it won't prevent us from getting to the playoffs or whatever, but it's going to it's gonna put a dent in that resume.
It would definitely deflate a tire too. It's harder.
But all the way, the big game: Notre Dame, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, Memphis, Mississippi State, or the other big games. One of them teams don't get the Slad Walking Sad Singing T-shirt brought out on them. In one of the other 5 schools,
one loss. One loss don't eliminate you, so you can put that T-shirt, keep that T-shirt hung up.
Yeah, but let me finish listen what I'm finna say first. You didn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
Unless one of these schools with big name loses to one of these small schools. You know what I'm saying? Upset alert this week.
Yeah. Like East Carolina. Yeah, listen, hey, Slam Newton. Listen, that's the game. Hey, let me tell you something now.
That's a dangerous game.
That's a dangerous game right there for NC State. That's a dangerous game. NC State is pretty much in the same boat with Georgia and Utah. And a lot of people are picking Utah to be upset by Florida. Some people are picking Georgia to be upset by Oregon. I would have to also add NC State in there. You're going into Greenville, North Carolina, a hostile stadium. It is loud. The fans are sitting on top of you. It kind of reminds me of Jordan Hare, the way that stadium is made. So listen, that's a dangerous game. For any NC State fan, I would be nervous about that game. And then you want to jump on them early and put them away early. Don't let them hang around to the second half.
Yeah. Like I said, even my team, even if Auburn loses Mercer, I bring that shirt out on them, which they should have, especially at home. You don't lose a Jordan Hare to Mercer.
Yeah. So we're gonna close it out on that note, brothers. We're gonna close it out on that.
That's good fun.
Hey man, you can join us any Saturday morning, and look, we're gonna have a post game show tonight, later on tonight. After the Ohio State, somewhere toward the latter part of the fourth quarter between Ohio State and Notre Dame. So you're welcome to join us up here on the panel, man. Yeah. Okay, brother. So we're gonna get ready to get on up out of here, everyone. Thank you all for coming out this morning. We're gonna do this every Saturday morning with the kickoff. We're gonna kick this off every Saturday morning. We're gonna close it out with a post game show later on tonight at 11 o'clock. Make sure you join us on the 20 East Sports Nation channel, but I will also be streaming it to the Armando Black channel as well, and to the groups in Facebook as well. Thank you all for coming out.
Armando,
thank you guys.
Let me say this before the song plays. Class of the Council calls on it today at 1:00 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, and also before I leave, I want to put some respect on this. Thank you, Esco.
Making it rain over here. Making it rain over here. Making it rain over here. Thank you for your donation.
I got to come up with a football donation drop because I can't run this on Saturdays. This doesn't mix. This needs to be for remain with the other show. So I am going to work on a sports cash drop. Probably, have some, I'll figure it out. But I use this drop for the sports show. So.
But
all right.
I think that they're gonna be very profitable, and it's gonna be great football. Hopefully, I will see too many blowouts today. Hopefully, I don't have to change the channel, but hopefully we see y'all back here tonight for the post game show. I know some of the football fans gonna be mad. Just remember, it's only the first game of the year.
All righty. On that note, let's get ready for some football. You all ready for some college football? Because it's here. Time for talk is over. Time for talk is over. Listen, we're here. It's September the 3rd. For Georgia fans, Oregon fans, Notre Dame fans, Ohio State fans, Utah fans, Florida fans. Hey, the time is now. The time for talk is over. All right, so everyone, see you all later on tonight. I hope everybody be in good spirits. It includes myself. That includes myself, because I ain't gonna lie. The more I talk about it, the more I get a little nervous about it. So everyone, enjoy your Saturday. Love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have the blessed and wonderful rest of your Labor Day weekend. See you later on tonight.
Peace and love.
East Media Network. 20 East Media Network. 20 East Media Network. Armando Black. Live from Atlanta, Georgia. East Media Network Productions.